Good morning. Good morning, BUC. There's lots of chatter this morning, which is wonderful. That's what community is all about. Welcome to each person who has come here today to worship in this place and in this time. As we enter into a new season of the year, into summer, we hope, we also enter into a new season of this church of BUC. With David's retirement, we enter this season of our church life. And while we are sad, hence the tissues, to see him go, we are happy for him that he'll have more time with his family and friends. So today we also celebrate the gift of David's ministry with us for the past 25 years. Isn't that amazing? 25 years. We trust today's service will be meaningful and spiritual, full of joy, and I know there will be tears too. But I'm not going to do any of this week's announcements. They've been on the screen. They're also printed on a sheet at the back of the church. If you haven't picked up an announcement sheet, please do so as you leave today. And we will be going up to the church hall for a reception following the service. And David will be ushered away very quickly up to the church hall, so you'll have an opportunity to see him up there, okay? So otherwise, we could be here for quite a while. We probably are going to be here for quite a while anyway, so I'll warn you up front that today's service might be a tad longer than usual. And of course, it will all depend on how long our blessed Reverend Hart goes on too. And we know he tends to go on sometimes. So we begin our service today by lighting our candles, our worship candles, and I'd invite Ruby Brown to come forward. Ruby has looked after our candles, tended them lovingly, and provided them for many, many years. And there's also a candle that she will light today. The candle that we lit when David was off having his treatments. And everybody held him in prayer, of course, in their hearts while that was going on. And he came back to us vibrant and strong. And so that candle will be lit as well. And at the end of the service, Ruby will give David the candle that was lit for him all that time ago, and as well a brand new one that hasn't been lit to signify a new beginning for him. And he will get the candle and the stand as he leaves today. So thank you to Ruby and the worship committee for thinking of that. It's on behalf of the worship committee she does that. Let us worship.
God is here.
Speaking here.
All the time. God is here.
All the time. All are welcome.
This morning, all of our hymns are David's favorites. I asked for a list, so all we're going to sing are favorites of his. So let us begin by worshiping God together, singing My Life flows on. Let's rise in body and spirit as we are able.
Oh, sorry.
My life goes on in endless song of our lamentation. I hear the sweet, though far off hymn that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It finds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? But though my joys and comforts die, my Savior still is living. What though the shadows gather round, a new song Christ is giving. No storm can shake my inmost soul, while to the rock I'm clinging. Since love commands both heaven and earth, how can I keep from singing? When tyrants tremble, sin with fear, and hear their death bells ringing, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? In prison cell and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging. When friends for shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing? I lift my eyes to the clouds near. I see the blue above it, and day by day this pathway soothes, since first I learned to love it. The peace of Christ makes fresh my heart, a fountain ever springing. All things are mine since I am Christ. How can I keep from singing?
Before we begin to sing the next piece, I'm wondering if people might scooch together. If you have some space, put up your hand, because there are people standing, and then they might be able to find a seat. Thank you.
And our next piece is Deep in Our Hearts. I'll invite our ushers to come forward and gather our offering while we sing our next two hymns. standing for one more. Paul, just a little more of this, please. This is one of David's favorites, and I'll sing the choruses because it's not all that familiar, and we'll all try I'll sing the verses, we'll try the choruses together. 1, 2, 3. And try to imagine as we're singing, what does this song say about David? What does this say about us and about God? A flame that lights an empty room and warms an empty heart grows stronger as you pass it on. And we, as tenders of the light, must climb atop a hill, a beacon light forever strong. And Christ, open our eyes, open our hearts, help us see how we have grown. And Christ, lead us to be your holy light, help us see that we are not alone. Do you have a free hand? Reach out to your neighbor. One hand can take another hand, and take another hand, and take the world into its arms. And we, as children of the world, brothers, sisters all, given shelter, safe from harm. And Christ, open our eyes, open our hearts, help us see that we have grown. And Christ, lead us to be your holy light, help us see that. Let's do the chorus again. And Christ, open our eyes, open our hearts, help us see how we have grown. And Christ, lead us to be your holy light, help us see that we are not alone. I'll invite the offering to come forward. Let's remain standing.
And we pray for the blessings of this day, the blessings of our lives, and the blessings of the gifts which we share with our church, our communities, and the world at large. We give thanks this day. Help us to keep our hearts open, to be tenders of the light, so that others may see they are not alone as well. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. That's you.
I want to invite all the children forward. And while the children are coming forward, I will let you know that in Sunday school today that we're having Mad Science. They came in to put on Sunday school for us today so that all the Sunday school teachers can be in the service. And just so you know, Mad Science will go on until noon, so when the service ends up, you can join the reception and then pick up your kids around noon. All right, thank you. So David, this is something the kids have been working on very hard for you, so we're happy to share it with you now.
How sweet it is to be loved by you. How sweet it is to be loved by you. I needed the shelter of someone's arms. There you were. I needed someone to understand my ups and downs. There you were, with sweet love and devotion, deeply touching my emotion. I want to stop and thank you, baby. I want to stop and thank you, baby. Yes, I do. How sweet it is to be loved by you. Feels so fine. How sweet it is to be loved by you. I close my eyes at night, wondering where would I be without you in my life. Everything I did was just a bore. Everywhere I went, it seems I've been there before. But you're bright enough for me all of my days. With a love so sweet in so many ways. I wanna stop. Thank you, baby. I just wanna stop.
He's a minister, I think, of Bedford United Church. He works at the church.
And what does he do at the church?
Work.
What kind of work?
Church work. To baptize babies and sometimes adults. And paying the bills. And giving people advice if they need it and guiding them. It's sitting in the office in the back of the church and seeing how the people who are singing, if they're doing good and if they're doing some of the words bad. I think that he got to be funny was his favorite part. Getting to do whatever he wants, like riding up the aisle of the church and on a bike. Making us kids laugh and telling us stories and just making a cool explanation for things. Probably like being in church and seeing everybody singing and like having a good time together. Yeah. Giving hugs. Probably all the songs that he used to do with people, all the friendship that he had. Probably that. Meeting new people and welcoming people into the church and being with a super awesome community. Paperwork. Not being at church. And not seeing anybody. Retiring. Oh, paying the bills. Because it's exhausting. He's retiring? Oh no! He should relax and play video games. Travel. I think he should eat cake. Going to a different pastor and being a singer? You'd probably go on vacation. Take a break and then maybe go to another church and do other things there. I think that David should spend lots of time with Casey and go to places that he wanted to see. And rest. Hi, David. I'm happy that I got to give you a fish to kiss. And I'm gonna call you Fish Lips from now on. Bye. I have multiple. He just always makes me laugh and has these fun ways of introducing us to new things. And I like the chickens part where he brought in chickens.
So, Emily, you have a lot of words next to you. Which ones do you think sum up David?
Positive, kind, hug, happy, and encouraging, and nice. I'll miss you, David. Bye. We'll see you. We might see you soon. I'll miss you. Thank you, goodbye, and you were lots of fun. So, did you hear? Reverend David is leaving. Yeah, I heard. My parents are sad. They have been talking about it for months. I know, I feel sad too. Change is hard. I just keep thinking about how much fun Reverend David is. He is. I think it is hilarious, some of the stuff he does during church.
I heard when he first came to BUC, they made him kiss a cod.
Yeah, the Welcome to Newfoundland thing. I think you usually have to drink something too. Maybe. I wonder what kissing a fish feels like.
Slimy.
Gross. Kiss the fish. Kiss it. I'm not sure that's exactly how it happened, but hey.
Wonder what the message behind that one was.
Nellie Boyce once told me that David rode his scooter to church. Really?
I don't think it's that kind of scooter. Listen, Laura doesn't give us a budget for these things. It's either this scooter or my friend's Barbie scooter.
I heard David once talked about the color of his underwear at church.
Yeah, I heard he said they were purple.
I really loved it when he built the fort in church. It is so cool to know that David built a fort in his living room just like I do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5! Or what about the time he got his hair cut in church?
I tried telling my parents it was a good business plan. People come to church and get their hair cut at the same time. I thought it was a money maker.
I know parents lack imagination. They need to talk to Natalie.
This beard's gotta go. So's this hair. I'm gonna be a bold man. Money! Money! Anyone remember that time David gave my little sister that piggyback ride? I think that was before I started coming. What happened? David closed his eyes and Kale and Hector guided through the aisles of the church. Yeah, I won't let my sister tell me where to go. That just isn't going to work. Oh, this is... And where else will the minister show up as a Jedi? David loves Star Wars. David, use the Force. Jan, I can't work like this.
What's wrong?
Do you see what I look like? What is this? An amateur production? I thought this was a professional operation. What self-respecting Jedi would we see looking like? Like a zebra? Look at me. A zebra! Like Emily said earlier, Norton does not give us a budget to work with. Yeah. How does she expect us to turn out BUC quality productions? Look at your lightsaber. No respecting source would come from those. Look what we were supposed to use.
What would David want us to do?
Work together! Seriously though, is it any wonder why we love BUC so much? What up does the minister get their hair cut, kiss a fish, bake a fort, use the Force? I feel so lucky that David has been our minister. David has helped me understand that Jesus is everywhere, including inside me. He helped me learn how important it is to love each other and to be good to each other. All while making us laugh. We are really going to miss him. Hey, I was baptized in this church. Were you? No way. Because I like how we welcome babies into our church with the BUC wave. I think it is time for all of us to give Reverend David a BUC wave and tell him how we really feel. We will miss you!
David, you saw all the hearts go by at the beginning. So, this is the gift that we have put together for you. And it is to remember all the hands of all the children that you have touched in your time here at BUC. Made for you, and we're off to Sunday school, to mad science. Oh, no, David doesn't want to.
Not before we have one last collective hug. Everyone, come around me. All right, just let's. Awesome.
I'm falling.
Come on close if you want. I want every single one of you to know how much I absolutely love you, and that you are really one of the most special parts of this church. And one of the most fun things about coming to church is being with all of you and talking about how God invites us all to love each other and make a great big community filled with those hands with love, okay? So will you promise me that you'll continue to make our church, BUC, the most wonderful, loving place that God can ever imagine it to be? If so, say, we will, David.
We will, David.
Awesome. Now let's do one last repeat after me. Prayer. Dear God.
Dear God.
That includes all of you. Dear God.
Dear God.
Thank you for our church.
Thank you for our church.
For you being here.
For you being here.
And for filling it.
And for filling it
With fun.
with fun
And care.
and care
And love.
and love.
And may we continue.
And may we continue
To make that love.
To make that love
And care.
and care
Grow.
grow
All the way to the stars and back.
all the way to the stars and back.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, boys and girls. I love you so totally much. And have a great day while we stay in here, and then we'll come out and we'll have more hugs afterwards.
I think we're in good hands with those children. And I'd like to call on Alice. Alice was on the committee so many years ago, almost 25 years ago, that called David to this church. We can all agree that the committee did a marvelous job, and she will share with us now some words from Scripture.
Good morning. This morning, as we say farewell to Reverend David Hart after his 25 years of ministry at BUC, we hear words from Scripture describing another farewell, that of Jesus with his disciples. As we engage in various farewells in life, Jesus invites us all to remain rooted in him and in God's Spirit. And in so doing, we will find peace and joy in life. Hear now these words ascribed to Jesus in the Gospel of John. Listen with your heart. I am the true vine, and my Abba is the vine grower. Live on in me as I do in you. Just as a branch cannot bear fruit of itself apart from the vine, neither can you bear fruit apart from me. I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who live in me and I in them will bear abundant fruit. As my Abba has loved me, so have I loved you. Live on in my love, and you will live on in my love if you keep my commandments, just as I live on in Abba God's love and have kept God's commandments. I tell you this, that my joy may be yours, and your joy may be complete. This is my commandment: love one another as I have loved you. The truth of the matter is, you may weep and mourn while the world rejoices. Perhaps you'll grieve for a time, but your grief will turn to joy. When a woman is in labor, she cries out because her time has come. When she has borne her baby, she no longer remembers the pain because of her joy that a child has been born into the world. In the same way, you are now grieving, but I will see you again, and then you'll rejoice, and no one will take away your joy. May the Spirit grant us wisdom, inspiration, and peace through these words. Thanks be to God.
And thank you so much, Alice, for sharing those precious words with us. Alice was the very first person I had a conversation with when I was coming to Bedford United Church. So, Alice, you have been a dear and glorious friend all these years, and I love you dearly, and you've been a wonderful part of this community. Bless you. Helen and Harvey Waddell, where are you? There you are. Stand up. I think these two have probably come the longest distance. My father-in-law is over here. He's come from Toronto. Stand up, hands. He's come from Toronto. We all love Toronto, even though, you know, it's a good place. We love Toronto. But Helen and Harvey have come all the way from Victoria. So give them a big hand. It's such a blessing to see you here. So, how am I supposed to deal with this moment? Like, really? Is my fly down or something? I have no idea. Well, I'm scratching my back. Right? How was all good? I do it. Carolyn, what else do I do? I scratch my back. I'm always checking my phone. So it's not going to be any different, right? I'll scratch my back and I'll check my phone and I'll do all this stuff. Stick my hands in my pocket now. You're going to be thoroughly embarrassed. I've said to some of you, you know, I think probably my greatest accomplishment with you over these 25 years is that I've lasted 25 years without saddling you with any kind of a scandal. It's a big deal. Big deal. I may have embarrassed you in a variety of ways in public, but not with any outrageous scandal ever, right? So I told this to someone a few weeks ago, and they said to me, "You've still got 2 weeks left." So we were singing the music at the beginning, and I was just filled with emotion and wailing and gnashing of teeth and crying. And there's been lots of time over these last months, particularly when there's been a lot of sadness. But it comes and it goes, right? It rises and it falls. And that will be the case with you as well. So this is an emotional morning for me. And it truly is hard to know what to say. I've said so much over the years, 25 years worth. So it's not going to be any different than it has been. I'll say the same kinds of things. You've heard them before, because it's who I am, and it's who we've become, right? So back to that message about scandal and departure. I was thinking there are a number of ways to depart. One of the things I've always loved about church is that we know how to have a sense of humor at Bedford United. Do we know how to have a sense of humor at Bedford United Church? Give me an amen, David. Absolutely. If there's one thing I have absolutely detested, and if I do become moderator of the United Church, I'm going to revoke the whole curriculum for theological students and teach them how to laugh in church and how to have fun at church, right? It's a church where you can't have fun, right? We need to have fun. And I don't say that in a shallow way, because joy is rooted in the heart of the universe. Joy is rooted in the very heart of God. And so one of the things that I've always thought is we have to have joy as a community. So I hope a little bit of what I've done over the years is exactly what the kids are saying. It's just been to evoke and share with you a sense of God's fun and God's joy. And I've also said, you know, I'm going to wander a little bit this way. We have had 2 incredible celebrations these last few days, on Thursday night and on last night. And those 2 nights just absolutely exemplified the incredible amount of joy that is in this community. And you know what? I just got to have anyone who was involved in organizing Thursday night or last night or in sending something or involved in organizing this morning, stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Anyone who's been involved, stand up. Come on, Gordon, stand up. Get up. Give them it has been such a glorious, you're not all standing, it's been glorious. But the end has come. It's time to leave. There's always an ending and a departure date. And there's a part of me that would like to just skip dodge and avoid all the emotion and the passion and whatnot. And this is part, is Sandy Irwin here this morning? Well, I'm not sure if he was able to be here this morning. Anyways, a number of you have over the years been participants in my fun and joy making at BUC. And Sandy sent me, he said, David, this might be a suggestion for how you should leave town. Let's have it right now. And crank it up. Really loud, Paul. Loud. I want that volume all the way up. So BUC, remember that scene as you think about my departure. It could have been a lot worse, okay? It could have been a whole lot worse. So, all that being said and done, now let me share with you the serious part. Three things I want to say to you this morning. You all know you all wonder how I remember these sermons all the time, right? I have 3 points, right? It's easy, it's a piece of cake. Never, ever, ever stop trusting in God. shared with you over the years. You know, there's so much doubt and skepticism and atheism in the world. And the world is a broken and a dismal place because of that skepticism and that doubt and that atheism. We don't believe at BUC, and I have never named God as an old bearded guy up in the sky. Although as I get older and have a white beard, the image is kind of growing on me. That's not the God we believe in. That's not the God we lift up. We name God as the incredible matrix, the incredible source of power and creativity and energy and love that has given birth to this amazing cosmos and that continues to sustain it in each and every single moment, because where is God? God is everywhere and right here. What I've always said, if God ceased to exist, if we flicked out the light switch of God, all of this would just disappear in a flash. Never stop doubting that incredible, that's why I talk about Star Wars, the incredible Star Wars reality that we saw last night. So much of popular culture kind of gets it, often more profoundly and deeply than the church does. God is this incredible power and force and creativity. And God is manifesting as each and every single one of us. And that's what Jesus was. That's what we proclaim in the church. That's what Jesus was. That's what we proclaim Muhammad was. That they were expressions of this force and this power, that they manifested it. Its light shone through them and revealed its reality to the world in such a profound and powerful way. And welcome to our friends from Al Rasul. Talib, Hassan, bless you. And Hassan, bless you. Cultivate. Continuously continue to cultivate your trust in that divine power and presence that is here amongst us, around us all the time. That is what I have done throughout my life, and that is the only thing of significance that you see in me, is that cultivation of that trust in that divine reality. Cultivate trust. Cultivate an intuitive awareness and discernment. And open your minds, and continue to open your minds to a more nuanced, a more subtle, a more thoughtful intellectual understanding of what this incredible reality is that gives birth to all of this. That's why I often said, that's why I love science so much. Because science, much more, I think, than theology in our world today, science continues to just, as it explores the universe, it just gives rise to this sense of awe and majesty and wonder and mystery in which we are embedded. We live our lives and we walk through life so often in our concerns and our daily worries and, everything that goes on, and we forget that we're actually walking through. We're actually encased in. We're surrounded by this powerful matrix. How many of you have seen the movie The Matrix? I love that word, right? We're enclosed in this incredible matrix of power and energy and creativity and love. And the more we can remind ourselves of that and feel it and discern it and intuit it, the more it starts to shape and guide our lives. And the other thing I want to say to you about that particular piece is part of the journey and part of what we're about as United Church of Canada, which makes us, you have some churches that are totally intellectual and conceptual, and you have other churches that are just totally devotional. And I think what we've combined here at BUC is we've combined this incredible sense of head and heart at one and the same time. And the head is good, and we need the head, and we need more subtle, nuanced, intellectual understandings of God, but we also need love. And how do you love the mystery? That's what Jesus did. And that's what he calls us to do. To fall in love with this incredible mystery of being in which we find ourselves so remarkably. Because you see, if you meet a friend or you get involved with somebody, a new person or whatnot, and you want to get to know them, but there's a coolness between you, right? There's a little, you're not really intimate with one another yet. And so they're not going to reveal their deepest secrets and their deepest hungers and their deepest thoughts and emotions to you. They don't reveal that until they know that they are loved and that this incredible bond of love exists between you. So I say, God cannot reveal God's ultimate reality and sense of being to us unless we start to cultivate that love for God in our hearts. But when we cultivate love for the divine in our hearts, no science can prove it. But when we start to cultivate that love in our hearts, the wonder and the beauty and the majesty and the reality of this incredible something that undergirds all of this starts to make itself known and starts to reveal its reality to you. Albert Einstein, the greatest scientist of all time, he said, I don't believe in this old guy up in the sky, but I believe in a reality and a being that has brought all this into being that is so stupendous and that it just leaves our hearts in a state of awe and reverence and wonder. That's what we need to cultivate. Keep doing that. Keep doing that, BUC. That's what we've done all these years. Second thing. First thing wasn't too long. Second thing. The world today seems like a mess. The world, I think, to every generation throughout time has seemed like a mess. Right? But I want to say to you, never give in to that kind of skepticism and despair and feeling that the world is a mess. The world is a beautiful place. The world is filled with beauty. It's filled with goodness. It's filled with compassion and love. And the news is constantly the news media, bless them, we need them, but they are constantly distracting our attention from all the wonder and goodness and caring and love that is present in the world. We can't make the world a better place. We can't change the world for a better place. We mustn't be stupid about the problems and challenges of the world, but we can't change them out of a place of despair or skepticism or forgetting it. We change it by a sense of passionate engagement with the world. I always love what Mahatma Gandhi said, and I've shared these words with you before too. Mahatma Gandhi said at one point in his life, he said, "There have always been tyrants and bullies and dictators. And for a while, they seem to prevail. But in the end, they always fail. In the end, they always fail. In the end, truth always prevails. Truth always has the last word. And it does, because this whole shebang is permeated by and radiated out of the divine sacred reality that is committed to life, that is committed to goodness, that is committed to love. And this, my friends, is why this is so important. Because what we have here, what you are, what you represent, is a counterbalance to all the skepticism, the doubt, the despair, and the anger, and the craziness that goes on in the world. Churches everywhere around the world, mosques everywhere around the world, synagogues, temples, sweat lodges, represent a counterbalance. They channel the light, they channel the force. They channel the force into this world, and they help to dispel the darkness. How do we get rid of darkness? We cannot force darkness out of the world. We can only shine with the light, which is embedded within us. And as we shine with the light, the darkness starts to dissipate on its own. So my mandate to all of you is continue to shine. Al Rasul, continue to shine. Bedford United, continue to shine together. Let us shine gloriously and show the world that God's intention for all of us is not about, as I said last night, it's not about walls, it's not about separation, it's not about death and darkness. It's about life and love and bringing people together in oneness and unity. Continue to do that. The last thing I want to say to you is, I love you. I love you so, so much. And the thought of departure, it's hard for me. But I am sustained and carried forward by the incredible love that you have shown to myself and to Danielle and to Kinza all these years. Remember, one of the first stories I told you was about the minister who arrived at a new church, right? And they were wearing those long robes at the time, right? And he was walking up here, and as he's walking up the stairs, he just took a tumble, right? Fell flat on his face or on his backside or whatnot, and got up with as much decorum as he could. On the first Sunday, you're trying to impress your congregation enormously, right? And he says, well, I've attended a lot of new churches in my time, but this is the first time I've fallen head over heels in love with a congregation on the first go, right? All right. I think from the first phone call that I received and the first conversation with Alice, and when Danielle and I came to the airport for our first interview, and we were greeted by Sandra Cox and Vi Parnell. I think, Vi, you're here somewhere, I know you are. And you greeted us at the airport, and there was so much laughter and joy and love from the get-go. We just fell in love right off the bat. You know, last night at the meal, I actually worked. Danielle told me you're nuts, but I worked for 4 hours over the last couple of days putting together a speech in which I was going, that's the only thing, Daryl and Val, and Val, you said I can't do that speech last night. I put together a speech with all the people I wanted to thank. And it's a lost cause. Because it has been such an incredible privilege to work with so many of you over the years. So many of you So much skill and passion and ability in this community. It's just mind-blowing. And I have had the incredible fortune to work and to engage with all of you and to help to nurture and create a community in which we all collectively come together. Danielle has had the blessed gift of being part of this wonderful community. And Kinza, I've said before, I cannot imagine any other place on this face of this planet where I would have rather had my daughter raised. And I know a lot of you feel that about your kids as well. So, at the end of the day, just know how much I love you all. And I've also, just to say, been so blessed with the ministerial teams that I've worked with over the years. Incredible staff, beginning with Carolyn years ago, and we've continued to work through all the years, and all the wonderful staff, Helen and Harvey here today as well, and all of you, Diane, all of you. It's been an incredible privilege and gift for me too. So BUC, one last time, the Spirit in me truly, truly honors the Spirit in you. Thank you for all your love. Thank you for shining with Spirit. And please continue to embrace your new ministry staff. Katie and Matt are going to be wonderful. Embrace them with the kind of love that you've embraced Danielle and myself and Kinza over the years, and continue to shine with the light of this incredible God in whom we trust. And BUC will have a grand and glorious future. And what I said last night is, my last words to you, some of you have heard it, don't screw it up. Don't screw it up. Keep it up. Keep it up. I'm out of here. Danielle told me last night, she said, you're speaking and people want to clap, but then you keep booting in and they don't get to clap. So thank you for your love, and thank you for your affection, and thank you for your warm wishes. And I think...
So it's not the last word, is it, David?
It's not the last word, no.
Come back here, David. David, come back here, please. So when David came to BUC, he was what we call covenanted. So that's a promise on David's part and our part to be in ministry together. Well, the time has come for a decovenanting. And so David has planned to give back some symbols of his ministry with us. And we'll move into the decovenanting now. Right. You will get a chance to say a few more words later, too, I'm sure, so be prepared. Who was it said to me last night? I think it was Carolyn, or somebody whispered to me at one of the speeches or something. You know, Lester Pearson's wife said to him one time, "Dear, you missed several opportunities to stop." So we might have to remind David of that. So David, you're going to do this. Did you want me to pass you the
Okay,
symbols?
yeah, if you'll give me some. So,
Okay. I'll be Vanna.
So when I began ministry, however many years ago it was now, and they give you symbols, right, to take forward into your ministry, and there were also symbols given to me when I came to BUC, and so there comes a time when it's appropriate, as I am departing as your lead minister here, to pass some symbols back to you, and that you will pass them on for me to the new people coming on board with whom you're going to have a wonderful and glorious new ministry. But before I do that, I want to just share with you, it just goes on. So
What'd I tell you?
a few of you have given me some symbols to move forward into this next phase of my life, okay? And you'll notice I'm wearing one of them this morning. And Mary McDermott, I don't know if you're here somewhere. Put your hand up, or where are you? There you are, Mary. Mary knitted this incredible shawl, which is a symbol of office. And I don't wear stoles a whole lot, but you know, this one somehow expresses the simplicity and the beauty of this office that I have been in over these years. So Mary, this rainbow stole, this symbol of inclusivity and welcome, if there are opportunities before me in which I continue to minister in some form or fashion in a more formal way, this shall be with me as a sign of that office. Thank you. She said I can wear it to keep my neck warm too. I have also been given, I've had a few of these over the years, and I want to say, you know, when I went through this incredible time with my cancer diagnosis, I was so wrapped in so much love and care and so much prayerfulness, and I just have to say thank you for that as well. But Donna Thompson, a member in our congregation, created this final beautiful prayer shawl for me, and it will be forever. There are angels attached to it. I will think of every single one of you at BUC as an angel praying for me and holding me in your love as I continue to walk through life with its challenges and difficulties. But this too shall be a reminder and a symbol for me going forward of your love and prayers for me. And Patricia and Stephen Bell passed on to me a little glass symbol. And you can take a look at it afterwards, I'll show it to you. But this is a symbol of creating a world filled with peace. It's a particular symbol. And I pray to God every day that if there's still work for me to be done, work through me, shine through me to continue to spread peace and love and light into this world. So I carry this as well in a very, very special way. And finally, Betty Joan Knowles created this beautiful blanket. This beautiful, beautiful blanket that I will use in the places I sleep and in the places I travel. And I will feel forever ensconced and covered and just wrapped up in your love and warmth and care. Betty Joan, where are you? You're here, Betty Joan. Thank you so, so much. Okay. And finally, last night, on Thursday night, I received this. Karen Parnell, where are you, Karen? You're here somewhere. Oh, there you are, Karen. This is a jester's hat. We're all called to be fools for Christ. And last night I was also gifted with a lightsaber to carry forward to battle with the forces of darkness in the world and to bring forth light and goodness into the world. So these are symbols that I have received. Much more creative symbols, I think, that I'm actually going to give, but I'm going to give a few too. But these are symbols that I will receive to carry me forward into this next phase of my life. Bless you all. So I'm going to invite Barry Cameron to come forward. Barry has been the chairperson of our worship committee, the lead for that team for a good number of years now. He has been an extraordinary example of God's light and creativity in his own way. And we have used these waters over the years to baptize, I don't know how many hundreds or thousands of children over the years, Barry. And in that process of baptism, we have surrounded them with the incredible grace and power and goodness that's in this place. Pass on this jug, continue to commit the waters to our new staff coming on board, that BUC may continue to baptize and welcome children and adults into a community that surrounds people with love and causes them to shine with the Spirit. May this be an ongoing blessing through the work of this community. Barry, bless you too as you carry on this ministry. Thank you. Ruby Bars Brown, where are you? One of the most incredible gifts that I have always had, Ruby, come right forward, is to preside over the sacred meal that is part of our community. Ruby, you know it so well. Jesus described a banquet as the sign of God's realm and kingdom. It's at a meal. And this is another thing I always do, I clear my throat. It's at a meal where we most experience the goodness and the joy and the companionship that God intends for us all. And we've had wonderful meals with our friends at Al Rasul now over this past year as well, and may these meals continue to be shared as well. But Ruby, you have blessed us with the preparation of this meal and with the diligent setting of the table with such beauty and grace and consideration, making sure that our family meal was always just the perfect place for God's grace and Spirit to shine. I give you these gifts back, this plate and this cup, and I invite you to continue to make this a community where people experience the realm of God through our wonderful family meal. Thank you for all your wonderful service over the years, and may this meal continue to be a source of strength and nourishment going forward. Ruby, the Spirit in me honors the Spirit in you. Thank you. Please. Now, the sacred texts. Both our traditions have sacred texts in the Islamic community, also in the Christian community. I have attempted throughout my ministry to utilize our sacred texts, to utilize the wisdom of our tradition as a means of sharing compassion with you, wisdom with you, challenge with you, and the insights of the people who have sought to understand and to radiate the presence of this great reality we call God through thousands of years now. So this morning, where's Paul Reed? There he is. I'm giving this to Paul. Paul has been was our worship committee chairperson for many, many years prior to Barry. And you all experienced Paul as this tech guy back at the church who just runs the levers and puts the pictures. But Paul has actually, over the years, been an incredible witness to what this is all about. He has been an incredible embodiment of courage and grace and vision for our community. And there is so much that we never could have accomplished on our own, but that we were able to accomplish together with Paul's wisdom and guidance as well. So Paul, and the last thing Paul said to me, he said to me just a few weeks ago, he said, we actually have to tell people to pick up this Bible from time to time and read it in church. And so the next Sunday I did that, right? So Paul has always been a source of grace and inspiration. Paul, take this wonderful tradition, this wonderful book, carry it forward, pass it forward to our new team members, and may they continue to embody the wisdom that's inherent in this, just as you have done. Thank you, my friend. Yeah. Sue Stewart and Mary Louise Mills, will you come forward if you're here? There you are, Mary Louise, you're right there. And Sue Stewart, are you here?
Up here.
And there you are. A part of my function and role, and in the role of office over the years, is to provide care for our community, to be present for you in your times of crisis and pain and difficulty and challenge. And early on in my days, these two people have been here for a long time. I've been here a long time. And you were the people that I originally came to, and I said, we gotta organize this because I can't do this all, it's impossible. Help me to work together to care for this community with the love and the grace that Jesus intends for us all. And the two of you have been such an enormous blessing. So here, I'm giving you job description, hospital visitors, for the pastoral care team, congregational care, and a church directory. And I give both these symbols to you as signs of the ministry of caring for each other, and that I have been part of with you and with so many others in this community. So I give these back to you, one to each of you, and I ask you to pass on this ministry to the new people coming on board, and let them know that, as was I, they don't need to do it alone. They are part of a team and a congregation which embodies the Spirit of God, in which everyone cares for one another. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's been awesome. Bless you both. So, this isn't officially in the job descriptions of most ministers, but it's been part of my job description over the years has been to be a music animator. Because the other thing I've said, joy and fun is part of a congregational life, but I've always had this vision and dream that music is such an incredible opener of the heart, that music is such an incredible vehicle that touches people's souls so deeply. And we have been gifted over the years with some incredible musical people. Dean Bradshaw, initially when I came, John Lindsay Botton, and then la creme, la pièce de la résistance. That guy. Get down here. Yes. And you get to keep him.
For now.
But if the universe does unfold that I should become the moderator of the United Church of Canada, I'm going to try to steal him. This guy, Rick, I've shared with you a number of weeks ago. Music is ministry. And you have shone with that ministry in a way that is beyond compare and beyond description. Continue to let the ministry of music, whatever you decide in your future, may the ministry of music always continue to shine through you and to bless this community and bless the world in the way that you have done so, because it is an incredible gift, an absolutely awesome gift. I give you this hymn book as a symbol of that ministry. May you carry it forward.
Don't forget me, David.
No.
Jan.
So, the old guy with the beard. He's an anomaly, but he's a pretty wonderful one. He's part of this incredible ministry to our children. And I'm going to invite Jan to, where's Jan Oki? Come on forward. Where is she? Yeah. And Lauren. Jan and Lauren, will you come forward? One of the most incredible gifts, as you have captured so fully, is that I have been so blessed to work with, to baptize babies, to see them to grow into children, to grow up into teenagers, and to become young adults making a difference in the world. The impact we have on our children from the beginning makes all the difference with how they will turn out to be adults. I often say with parents baptizing children, if you don't teach them piano lessons when they're little, learning how to play the piano as an adult is so much harder. If you don't give them the gift of faith and joy in faith and passion for God when they're little, it's so much harder as an adult. You too embody such an incredible ministry of encouragement and nurture for our children. And so I say, continue to do so. And may this old guy with the beard, may he continue to be a part of your way of nurturing our children's love and faith in God, and to carry and to create so much joy in our community. So take him forward. Big kiss. And may you continue this wonderful ministry within our community. Bless you both.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, this. Come. I've already given the choir right royal you know what for that skit the other night with the water bottles. And I checked them this morning to make sure there were no plastic water bottles in their midst. Ann McVicker, will you please come up here? Another part of the ministry that is so critical to our community is the ministry of welcome. Yeah, I know, short. Is the ministry of welcome. and of embracing and welcoming new people into our community. Ann McVicker has, over the years, poached so many volunteers and so many people to our church to her welcoming team like no one else. Every church needs 100 Ann McVickers
Yes.
to engage in this ministry of welcome. Keep it up. Pass it forward. You have engaged in such a ministry of welcome over the years. Keep it up. Keep it up. Mwah.
Do you want one at a time, or you do not?
Bring them all forward.
Oh,
It's Daryl
Daryl and Val.
and Val. Yeah, that's right. Daryl and Val
And Andrea.
and Andrea.
Where's my list?
And where's Della? Where's Della? There you are, Della. Come up here. Come on forward. And Diane. And Don Ambler. That's right. Where's Don? I don't know how this is going to work, but this is you people. This guy is kind of our bureaucratic kind of governance guru, but he is one of the funnier guys I know as well, and has been an incredible gift. You have been chair people, you have been leaders, you have been wonderful participants in our community over the years, but so much for me, each of you in your own way has embodied the joy, the incredible joy that we have talked about, and that is so amazingly special in this congregation. So, my mandate for each of you, don't blow it. Continue to pass forward and facilitate the joy that God intends for all of us in our community. May God bless you all. Amen. Thank you, David.
Okay, David, you can go sit down again now. We've got something else.
Yeah, that's right. I have one last thing that I want to do.
No, you're okay.
Just one last thing.
Okay.
I want to invite Carolyn Kroll to come forward.
Yes. Oh, she's wrote a poem.
Carolyn was here when I came to BUC.
Mother figure.
Well, I don't know if you're a mother figure or not. We had some spats over the years, too, as I recall. That's right. Carolyn has been an incredibly wise mentor and support and spiritual presence and educator, and a few other words I can use. It's kind of a creative disturber. The words I would use, maybe I shouldn't. She's also been a vacuum cleaner and disturber and all those kinds of things. But she's been an incredible blessing to all of us in our ministry over the years. And she has written so many of the poems that have been such a source of blessing and nurture for us over the years. And the last thing I want to say here is, Carolyn, keep it up. And would you share this one final poem for me that you have written for me? If you would share that, because I think this gal, more than anyone in some ways, knows my soul and my mind, and I have been so grateful for you over the years, and I hope that you continue it up for many years to come. Okay, will you read that?
I was asked to write a poem. That's not the style I usually do. I write, it's the gift I have, is that things come to me and I can embody them in words. But you all know about rivers. You know a river in the world. So I've called this poem, which is for David, called The River of Life. Within time and space, life is like a river, birthed in the hills from deep springs of love, of clear mountain rain, joined on the journey by other streams, growing, enlarging, sometimes falling or flowing around obstacles to lie briefly in a tranquil pool, deepening, widening, spreading out across the land, nourishing creatures and soil, broadening self and others. Sometimes dark cliffs and banks shoulder the water into itself, turning it raging, tumbling over rocks, racing along its path. Time passes, directions change, emerging into peace, the expanse of delta, endlessness in view, busyness laid aside, moving into community with eternity, the divine ocean.
Thank you for everything. Love you.
Love you too. Hugely.
Thank you, Carolyn. And that's printed on the back of your bulletin if you want to take it home. And we'll invite David to have a seat. And Nick Fielson's going to come forward and say a few words about a slideshow that we're going to be treated to.
As a filmmaker, I seek for stories that transform, stories that take us on a journey, stories that show us a different point of view. Over the last few weeks, I've had the incredible privilege to talk to just a few of you to share some of your stories about this place. And I've experienced all three of those emotions, those responses. And what all of those stories really told me was the strength of this community. And David put it really well last night. He said that no one person is responsible for creating community, and that's quite right. All of us contribute to that. But everything that is great needs a spark, needs someone to ignite that light, and for all of us to pick that up and run with it. And what I've put together is just a small collection of some of those thoughts, and I'm sure when you see this, you'll all see your own stories, your own reflections that you want to be part of that as well. And just to finish with, if I sort of take the cosmological theme that we had last night and that David's talked about this morning, if BUC was the universe, I think we've had a pretty impressive Big Bang.
Our first introduction to him was through his application and his accompanying letter. And of the 12 of us on the committee, we reviewed 28 applications that night, and every one had his at the top.
Our 3-year-old told us after going to church with his grandmother, this was the place to be. And of course, what I received was this big, booming, incredible amount of energy coming flying in, going, Jane, Jane. And all I could think was, who is this guy and how does he know my name?
When I heard David speaking in his deep, resonant voice, it reminded me so much of Alan Rickman, and so I was just kind of in awe. And he also had that way of being an actor as well, so it just made me feel like I was in the presence of somebody who would bring us a lot of joy and times of reflection and some great kind of physical expressions of God as well.
There were so many new faces, but I remember being just gobsmacked the first time I heard him speak because, of course, no notes. And I know how tough that is.
Sometimes you sit back and you're all relaxed and your theology is all in a tune and you're all great. And all of a sudden, David puts some new idea out there. Then you have to sit up and you have to start thinking all over again.
We had some conversations that didn't go all that well.
David always comes in, he's like, let's go, let's get this conversation started. And he brings his dog to the front of the church. You never know what he'll have. He's had haircuts in church for children. He's had, did he have a fish one time? I feel like he's had a fish.
He is kind of a last minute Charlie, I have to say. People will say, I have a meeting with David at 10 o'clock and it's 2 minutes to, and they're wondering where he is. And I say, he's just leaving the house, he'll be here in a minute.
He always has a joke that's funny and relevant, right? I mean, sometimes they're dad jokes, yes.
So there is the just a minute. Now, Tom Rudolph, Tom sent me an email, and there's a joke that I have to share with you.
Because sometimes you wondered whether he knew himself what he was going to say, right? With David, you weren't sure. He could come up with some fabulous points of view, or some new way of looking at the earth or the world, or looking at God, or spirituality. And you'd think, oh, here we go again. David is ready. We're all set. Hold on to your seats, folks, because we're in for a ride.
I asked him one time, a couple of years ago, what he'd do if he retired. And he said, well, I'll travel and I'll concentrate more on my guitar. So maybe he'll join a rock band. Who knows? David will too. He's unpredictable on times.
He's really guided everything that has to do with my faith. And BC has become one of my favorite places. And I think everyone at BC can kind of agree with that.
The Reverend David Hart is truly an amazing human being and servant of God. He truly makes you feel the presence of God when you are in His presence.
It's his personality, you get a genuine sense that he really cares about the congregation.
And he gives you the feeling, I have an open heart. And that's really give me the strong foundation to build our relationship with United Church.
David is one of the most authentic people I know. And we've always had such an open relationship that we could share, be really honest with each other and challenge each other.
His light and his energy and his passion transcends everything, and it's such an inspiration. Whatever your background, whatever your the sort of depth and strength of your faith, however you interact with David, he's such a force for good and a force for positivity. You just can't help but smile anytime you come in contact with him. The hugs, incredible. The real sense of belief and trust that he has in everything.
The other thing that I really felt good about was the inclusivity, the radical inclusivity.
We had a bit of a reputation of being too formal and everybody getting too dressed up. And so that sort of thing had begun to come to our minds, and he just was able to help us move quickly with that, which was a good thing.
The funny thing that did happen one time about that was that they discovered that only members could vote. They decided to have a members vote. So we had a special BUC 101 session, and we had 60 people become members that Sunday before the vote, so they could vote on that issue, and that was kind of fun.
I know it's him when the key in the door turns. I know how it sounds when he comes in the door before he walks in the door.
His ability to help us celebrate life in all its forms, in all its ways, and especially when we lose a member. He has a way of spending time with the family and making it very, very personal.
The caring that you can see in him for the people that he's dealing with and that sort of stuff. You couldn't have found a better person, I don't think.
no matter how we're each feeling, there is never any question of his love. There is never any question of his commitment.
I'm so pleased that we found BUC. It's fulfilled a huge need in my life, one that I don't think I fully appreciated that I needed. But as the years have gone on and my connection with the church has deepened and the people that I've met through it, the more I've realised that I need that sense of community.
If all communities around the world take the spirit of leadership that he has, the deep love for God that he has, the admiration that he has for the great prophets of God, the initiative that he takes, the amazing efforts that he has in reaching out to other communities, the world will be a much better place.
So when I believe he is a true man of God, I work with him without condition. And that's opened the door to do a lot between Al-Rasul Islamic Society and United Church.
It was a model for other congregations, for people living, on your street. To reach out to your neighbor, they may look different, they may dress different, they may eat different foods, but you know what? My relatives looked different, dressed different, and ate different foods when they arrived too.
I believe David is a credit, not just for United Church. That's me, not because he's my friend, but I say it truly. He's a credit for Canada.
We'll say, we knew that man when he was minister of Bedford United Church. Imagine how far he's come along.
I still think, there's a, third and fourth act ahead for David Hart, and I can't wait to see what that will entail.
Saying goodbye to you is not easy, but I know it's not goodbye. I know I'll still be able to get your hugs a couple times when I see you, and I know you'll always be there with open arms for me, and that means a lot.
You are a friend. You are a brother. David, we miss you. David, the whole community respect David. Whole community love David.
I see the future as just a turn in the river of your life. You will bring all of the skills and loves and new ideas and insights that you have into wherever you go.
Well, I'm going to miss the times that you breeze in and we have the most amazing conversation for 48 seconds. You are a brother to me now, like it or not. And I am so, so grateful that one day, many years ago, you wagged your finger at me and you said, I want you on my team. I don't know how or I don't know when, but I want you on my team.
I would like to see you truly retire, but I don't think that's in the cards.
I had the privilege of having you as a colleague for those years. And now I just want to wish you so much love. You know that I love you, Danielle. And I want you to enjoy life to the fullest. You deserve it, my friend.
Sit back and have your spiritual moments that you'd have no interruptions by phone or text or email, and have a wonderful, wonderful time with Daniele and Kinza.
You've been an inspiration, you've been a guide, you've been a challenge to me to think about who I could be, how I can be better, how I can always put the best expression of myself into the world.
Bring your passion, bring your tenacity, bring your love. Don't stop giving your gift to the world. Take time, write, read, reflect, and do what makes your heart sing.
David, I still have your phone number, your cell number, so I'll be calling you.
And David, We need you to come forward again. We have some presentations of gifts that we'd like to offer. You're not allowed to turn that mic on yet. So first, I'd like to call on Mary Louise Mills, has something on behalf of the UCW. Oh, right now.
Could we have the handheld mic, you think, please?
Thank you. Oh, we got one, Paul. So you can use that, okay?
I'll keep this really short because we're really running late. It's a good thing Frank's not here. Just very shortly and briefly, you can't sum it up, but you have been such a support to the UCW. You have really nurtured what we've been doing, and we love you dearly. And even when you met with us, we knew there was something you were going to ask about, but we thought of something that you might appreciate as a gift. And so this is what we've come up with, and you can open it up. You can open it up. Rather than giving him some tangible thing, we know that David is involved in Camp Kidston. He's one of the directors. So we are sending 2 first-year campers to Camp Kidston as a gift from the UCW.
And now I'd like to call on Chairperson of our council, Darlene MacDonald.
How many of you? You don't have to
Speaking to the mic, honey. It's on, you just got to put it up close.
How many of you? You don't have to stand or anything, but have you read David's most recent book, Spirit Awakening? Have you read it for the first time? You're still reading it? You're going to read it again? It's an amazing book, and it touches the heart and soul of every one of us. And as you read it, the spirit of his voice comes right through to you, and you relive those sermons again, and they are wonderful. So, having said that, David, council figured that it was the best possible gift we could give you from council and the elders. Now, before I go further, could the people who have served on council, past, current, and elders, please stand up. Let's see. Let's see.
A lot of us. A lot.
Yes.
Now we are giving you Spirit Awakening book, but we have tinkered with it a tad. We asked the publisher to make us one special book, you know. He gave us the leaves. We needed the left-hand margin to be a half-inch wider. And so we gave it to some people that I know. Their names are Gary and Sarah Parent. And they lived in the UK for quite some time. And they brought with them this craft. So that book now is all hand-stitched. We also asked for about 12 blank pages in the front. So that book is all hand-stitched. The spine has been handmade. It's glued and pressed and so on. It's covered. You can start opening it.
I know, it's gorgeous.
Like King Henry VIII said, I don't want to hold you too long, you know. So the book, turn it over. The book is covered in Italian leather. And so is the box. And that's art paper on the inside leaf. And remember those pages in the front that I asked for? Well, those pages are for the signatures and little lines written by people current and past who have served as elders and council members. So I've got most people. David, I've missed the hugs the last few months at the back of the church that you give because I've been lurking in the kitchen, in the hallways, in closets, wherever I could find that you wouldn't see me getting signatures and write-ups in the book. So it's a keepsake for you, and I think you will be happy with it.
This is amazing.
Beautiful. He's been a joy and an intellect and loving part of our lives for all these years. And we wish you and your family the happiest and most fulfilling times to come.
When we found out you were on the way, the congregation was thrilled. And like your dad said, there is no, I'm going to break up again, there has been no better community that we could have hoped for than to raise children or a child. So this corsage that Gloria's putting on Kinza's wrist is just one of our ways to say how blessed we were with your arrival and how much we've enjoyed watching you grow into such an amazingly compassionate and confident and well-spoken young woman. Now, when I was in high school, a very good friend of mine was a preacher's kid, and it is not easy to be the preacher's kid. I mean, everywhere you go, you never know who might see you, right? So your dad often told stories about you, and you were a great sport. But you seem to navigate that minefield pretty well. So congratulations for that. And we certainly look forward to seeing what your next chapter will hold, because you're at that springboard, right? And the other little gift we have for you is we do, because you never know where your path may lead, we do want you to remember Bedford United Church and some of the moments that you've had here. So we're hoping you'll come back to visit once in a while, but when you're not here, we just prepared a little, a little snippet of some of the things that might be memorable. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And Danielle, you have been such an integral part of David's ministry. You've always been there in the background. You had to give up family time to be present with, and for David to be here with us for meetings and funerals and weddings, hospital and home visits, dinner, theater, practice, and so much more. You've also provided your own ministry to us in so many ways by forming lasting friendships within the congregation, providing a listening ear for many of us, supported many through difficult times, starting the women's group, the Wild Women, and all of this you've done for BUC with love and compassion and an open heart. We value all you've done for BUC, and we want to present you with this bouquet of flowers. Now, a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, David, during his children's time, had some wind chimes that somebody gave him as a gift. And I happened to be with Danielle a few weeks ago, had a lovely day, and I worked so hard to prevent her from buying this beautiful set of wind chimes that she loved. Anyway, with apologies to the Dillmans, who are going to have to listen to these wind chimes, either to keep them awake or lull them to sleep, I don't know which. We have these for you, Danielle. You like them? So the thing is, we want you, whenever you hear, they sound just like the church bells, actually. And so whenever you hear that, whenever the winds of the Spirit blow, think of the Spirit that is still present with us and with you, with all of us. And think of your friends at BUC.
Our next gift, so you remember the tree, right? There was that tree outside that had to be taken down for the parking lot to be built. Well, that tree is being made into tables and stools and other pieces of furniture, and our beloved woodworker, Brian King, is helping with a lot of that work. And the wood has been stored in his driveway, bless his little heart, for months. So the 7th of July, Daryl is going to make available an opportunity for everyone to see that wood, and if there are pieces that you might like to have made into something for your own homes, that will be an opportunity. And if anyone wants to contact Daryl ahead of time, he's open to that too. But this table behind us, if we take that white cloth off,
I never thought about what's underneath that cloth.
just a table. So this table is for David and Danielle. So you can move it over. So there's a picture up there too. So we hope that you will find a spot and use it, because it's a beautiful piece.
Get over here.
You need this.
Come over here. Hurry up. We don't have time. Awesome. Love you, buddy. Thank you.
Stay there. Stay there. So, David, dear David, over the last few days, we have reminisced about your 25 years here with us. The 25 years that embodies so many things that I won't try to name them. We've laughed and we've cried, and we've reminded ourselves what true community is really all about. And it's been fun, looking back at the pictures and remembering the stories and the people, especially the people that have made the past 25 years so very, very special. And you, my friend, you have been the centerpiece of the puzzle. You've helped BUC imagine what is possible, and then encouraged us to just be courageous and get out there and do it. And there's so little left to say. I feel like it's been said. So thank you. Thank you for being our minister, our spiritual leader, and our friend. This is certainly not goodbye, but just that we'll see you around. We can't wait to see what you will do next. We love you dearly. And Daryl has one more gift.
Nobody else gets to have this. This is just phenomenal.
All right, there we go. So it's rare when you ask somebody what they want for retirement, but with David, we didn't know what that was. So Jen sort of wormed around, sort of like, what do you want? You know, this, and so he said, I love a guitar. So, okay, that's great. So now we know what he wants for a retirement gift. So a few months ago, he said, now, Daryl, I've been thinking about this, and I think it'd be more appropriate that in lieu of a retirement gift, they give money to the parking lot. I went, no, this isn't about you. This is about a gift from all of us to you for your time here and the love to shine back to you. So, I'm going to give you the guitar, but I will warn you is that the parking lot fundraising sort of maybe interfered with the ability to raise money. So, Val, if you would like him to hold it while David opens his guitar. No, you just open it up and take a look at it. This is pretty well all the... I've never opened a guitar case before, right? So... This is what we've raised for David, and so I will say we've raised almost $200,000 for the parking lot, and this is all that was left. Sorry, but we will love you. But Val, would you want to grab that guitar for a second? The money's still coming in, David, but we'd like you to take a look at this, what has been raised out of love for you. So far, and it's still coming in, you have given this person that we love so much over $6,000. So, you can't measure love with money, but money sure helps. And to say, so I'm going to think he's going to buy a very fine guitar or two. So, with love, take it and just absorb it, pal.
Oh my goodness me. Oh, God, man.
There we go.
Oops.
Have a seat with your family.
As promised, we're going to give David the last word before we close our service this morning. No, you're going to get the last word, David.
Now?
I promise. Yeah, now.
Right now?
Right now, before we close. No, Peter, that's after. Finish worship.
I'm speechless.
Oh, first time ever. Woohoo!
But I'll still say something. Over the years, you don't think about the impact. You don't think about how your ministry or how your engagement with the world is touching lives. You just do it. I just did it. The most incredible gift these last few days have just been just totally beyond anything I could have ever expected or anticipated or imagined. And your love and your generosity has been just overwhelming for myself and for Danielle and for Kinza and for my father-in-law, Hans, who is here. The greatest gift at the end of the day for me, the gift that all these other gifts represent, is the knowledge, is I can't deny it, is the deep awareness now of what a blessing all of this has been for all of you and all of us together. That is the gift I will most carry from this week in my life, is the awareness that this place has been such a blessing to so many of you. And I just want to say one last time, and on behalf of Danielle and Kinza as well, I couldn't have, as I said to you last night, my ability to love you stems from the love that you have also shared with me and the love that I have shared with my family as well. So one last time, BC, just thank you for 25 glorious years. May you continue to shine with Namaste and with the Spirit. And may the blessing that we have created together continue to be a blessing for this community and for Nova Scotia and for the world to see. I love you. Amen. Thank you.
Good morning. Good afternoon. The Gospel according to John further tells us, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Let us pray. A prayer of thanksgiving. Creator God of Spirit, we offer thanks for the Word and for the grace and gift of life we have been given through the Word. We offer thanks for our community gathered here today on this sacred ground, this sacred space open for all people. We are grateful to bloom where we have been planted by the divine hand of God. We give thanks for the opportunity to live out God's Word, beckoning and reconciling with all beings, with our Islamic brothers and sisters, and those of other faiths and beliefs, with those of all gender identities and sexual orientations, with our First Nations friends and those to come, with the ill, the destitute, with everyone in God's world. We give thanks for this church, where we variously have met, have married, have baptized our children, raised our families, have sung, have prayed, have learned how to live through dark nights of the soul, have made meals and eaten in communion, and have grown as human beings. We offer thanks to tell our stories guided by the Word, thankful to share our joys and sorrows, our hopes and fears, through the smiles and euphoria, as well as through the dark and the dread. We especially offer thanks for the life, gifts, and spirit of Reverend David Hart and his family, for in many ways it has been through his vision and tender care that we have come to be the community that we are, as a people better today than we were yesterday. We are thankful for David having taught us the faith of Moses, the toughness of Jeremiah, the compassion of Ruth, the vision and resilience of the Apostle Paul, and the joy of the risen Jesus, alive in us all through the Spirit today and always. We are grateful to have traveled many roads with David as our guide, smooth roads to Bethlehem, celebrating births and new life, sad and turbulent roads to Jerusalem, mourning the deaths of loved ones, joyful roads to Emmaus, breaking bread together as expressions of the divine, and revelatory roads to Damascus, awakening us to the Spirit within and without. While David may be stepping away, we remain behind in this place as witnesses of God's Word, confident and thankful for the opportunity to travel many as yet uncharted roads as a community, creating the new Jerusalem that our minister has called us to construct in our time. We remain behind in this place, thankful to be inspired by David, a mystic of our day, surely blessed and shot full of the light, illuminating the path to the high mountains of hopeful tomorrows, bound for glory. We remain behind in this place, thankful to have a faith born of the Word. The Word taught us passionately and playfully these past 25 years by our teacher David, taking us deeper into the heart of Christianity. We recall that while certain of our days surely have been long, so too have our years been short with our friend. We remain behind in this place, thankful not only for David's poetic ministry, forever written on our hearts, but also for the ministries of Bill Parsons and Diane Tingley. We remain behind in this place, thankful in knowing that we will be bountifully blessed by the coming ministries of Katie Avon and Matthew Villier, guiding us further into the thick imagination of God. And finally, we remain behind in this place, knowing so long is not goodbye from David. Through the gift of memory, he will continue to inform and shape us forever, a bush that burns but never goes out. With profound gratitude, we acknowledge both God's word and David's legacy as being deeply imbued in our community. We are not alone, for they accompany us still and forever, sure and true, supporting and nurturing, offering sanctuary, compassion, and love to all, right there with us when the deal goes down. God's blessings be on David, Danielle, and Kinza Hart, and all God's people. Amen.
We're going to send David out with music. There's a few singers who wanted to add their voices and their prayers to this, so I invite them to come forward. I'll invite the choir and Spirit Rising to rise. David, we sang this to you when you returned healthy and strong from your cancer treatment, so we're going to send you out healthy and strong for your next adventure with a song that I'm told feels like David's song.
As
And now, as we go from this place into the warmth of our world to live as a blessed and a blessing people, on this day in particular, I'd like to share with you something the Apostle Paul wrote in his letter to the Hebrews. Remember your leaders who spoke the word of God to you. Consider the outcome of their way of life and imitate their faith. Over the past 25 years, this beautiful faith community has been blessed with the leadership of David Hart. And so I share this blessing for all of us, but most especially for David, Danielle, and Kinza. As you find joy, share it. As you find love, cherish it. And know you and all of us, no matter where we are or what we do, we're all held in that great source of life, laughter, light, and love. May it be so.